for November.
Well, she's here.
They couldn't get a hold of her.
Liz is here.
On her way or not.
Yeah, thanks. Bye. Carry on.
Thank you. First order. Chair gave me a note. I'm wondering if we want a motion to table the election of our officers until next month when we have some more board members here.
I think it's a good idea.
Somebody want to
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
You called the meeting to order yet?
I did.
Did you really?
Yeah. Couldn't tell about it.
You hear the gavel.
Okay, the minutes from last month's meetings. Anybody have any corrections or revisions? Motion to adopt.
Make a motion to adopt the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Staff, we have any revisions to the agenda for this month?
Yes, I'll be pulling case number I,
Which one?
Aye.
letter I.
That's Samuel High, case
Samuel High.
13 CE 3973.
Thank you.
Sherry, on the notice of assessment appeal, if they're not here, will we table it?
That's not a question for me.
No. We even started late. They still couldn't make it.
I'd suggest we hold off and just come back to that if they come in. Otherwise,
Okay.
we'll deal with it at the end.
Otherwise, case 13 CE 419, item F is being pulled. We continue till next month. Number 2, request for board order, item A is being pulled.
Hold on a second.
That was Quail Valley, the first one.
Correct.
And then the other one is Erica Ogle.
Correct.
That one's pulled and
Okay.
that one's pulled.
F is pulled.
Okay. Got it. I'll move we adopt the agenda as revised.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
If we could call case G first, Mr. Lynn is the tenant. He's the only one here today. If we could hear that case first, please.
Certainly. We'll start with case 13.
Could swear everybody in first.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Everybody will raise your right hand. And you too, sir. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, case 13-CE-1239, David Lynn, Suburban Guy, and Jerry Wall. Yeah, it's on a second.
And was there a request for a hearing on this?
What case number was that?
Because if there was no request for hearing filed, they've waived the hearing and admitted the violation.
There's been no written request for hearing that I know of.
Okay, because you've got it on here for notice of assessment, right?
Yeah. It's actually someone already didn't request a hearing and admitted their guilt, but
Correct.
Okay. Well, yeah, sir. What's happened is when you got your citation, you have 10 days to request a hearing. You did not request a hearing, so you've waived a hearing on the citation and basically admitted the violation. This is because apparently the violation is still not corrected. So this was for the board to impose continuing penalties against you. Do you have anything that you want to say to the board and
Yes,
in your
I do.
defense and why they should not impose those penalties?
Thank you. My name is David Owens, as I said. And first off, I personally intentionally never avoided anything that I felt I must have missed that paragraph that said I had 10 days. I was all for getting permits for everything I needed for that, but I didn't deliberately not have a hearing or not do the permit thing. I can't explain. I just kept on going with trying to get the store, and I knew I had so many different things coming at me from different angles with different permits and such like that. I wished that it came into the thing with a couple of $1,000s and I could have handled it, whatever it took to get all the permits and get everything done right. And that's what I'm doing. I'm having a electrical contractor come in and take care of all the electrical, and I understand there's a building permit, like they said I had to get a permit to take down a soffit, I believe it is. To me, the thing was falling down. I just kind of got rid of it before somebody got hurt. It's basically what happened. And then I saw I was fined $50 for that. But all this stuff that you might have in front of you, and that Melody has mentioned, I'm, right. I want everything perfect and right. I don't want nothing. I want it all done right by the city. I want the city behind me on what I'm doing here, and it's been a financial burden thing. I just kind of been sitting there with the computer trying to generate something for in the future when I do get the permit taken care of. So it's been kind of a financial situation. I'm disabled, and I'm doing this on a SSDI income, and I can handle it. It's just things keep popping up all the time. I don't know if I never had a business of my own, and I didn't realize all the different little things that come up, and then all of a sudden I'm short here, and when I'm short here, but I'm getting it. I want you to know that I'm getting it. I'm real close to. I had the electrical man scheduled even to have it done, and I had to call him and tell him postpone it for next month because I get paid once a month. I see this was to be paid by the 30th. I get paid on the 3rd of each month, and I'm happy to pay it, whatever it is. It's again, I'm on a budget, and I try to get as much as I can done. I'm not having, the electrical hasn't been touched since they told me I needed an electrician. I don't want any problems with electrical. I want the electrician to do it. As far as the money goes, the fine, again, I did not intentionally just say, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, no. I was a plumbing contractor for 22 years in California, and I used to contract a lot of stuff, so I know about those things. But I didn't see that paragraph where I had 10 days. That was my fault, obviously. If there's a fine that comes with that, then so be it. I shall have to handle it. But I'm hoping that in my financial situation here today, maybe I can have a little leniency on the money. $50 and $100 doesn't sound like a lot. When you're on a budget, it is. I can do the business. Don't get me wrong here. The business can be done. It's just slower than a lot of people would that normally go into business. I never went into my own business, so I had no idea. But if I'd have known, I would have sat back and collected a few more dollars or whatnot, because I really did not know. And that's why I'm here before you now. And I'm very proud of what I'm doing over there. And a lot of people are excited about what's going on there. But it's just, they ask me, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm just saying, I'm just sitting, waiting. I'm just waiting till I can get the next deal taken care of. And the building is shaping up. I mean, when I got in there, it it took a month just to gut the thing, just take out whatever the guy left. But it's, the soffit, it was falling down. In the center, it was sagging. It was almost a U. You could see light all the way through the board there, and I had to get rid of that. And that, I think, what she was referring to. And when she did come to that day about the permit, she saw there was a bunch of, I painted it, and I took out the electrical receptacles so I could paint around the box areas. And so they were out of the receptacles were out of the box. I'm 62 years old. I've owned 3 homes, and I've always taken them out and painted them and put them back in. But like I said, that's what she saw. And then there was a lot of old phone wires from, I don't know what, 1875 or something. I had those hanging on the wall. I could see where if you were an inspector or a code enforcement person, if they looked at that, I can clearly see that they would have a heart stroke or something. But it was just stuff that I just hadn't gotten rid of at that time. And there were no walls being built that was stated here at all. What I was building was a 9-inch stage, if you will call it a stage, for the bands, or whoever wants to come in and rehearse can use that stage. Well, maybe that could have been, because I built it with 16 centers, it looked like a wall, okay? And but it wasn't a wall, it was a stage. So after going to the city, they talked to Ken or somebody down there, I took it up. I scratched. I said, let's not do it. Just forget about that. So I took it all apart and put it away. Now it's just new floor. Because I don't want anything that's going to, build anything that people get hurt on or something. And so I got rid of it. But I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. She might have saw that end set of walls. It's a brick place. I can't, it's all brick. And the way you walk in it right now, it's just walls is all it is. So I'm thinking that she definitely could see that it would look like I was doing a major project.
Just as a clarification, when I first spoke with him, I said, I think maybe you're going beyond work. You need to touch base with the building department, and that's when he explained what he was doing. More than, I would say, a month went by, the building department got involved. This case initiated based on a building inspector being inside the property and saying that interior renovations occurred in the business without a building permit and visible work performed, including electrical soffit and wall removal. So this is us enforcing a case on behalf of the building department advising permits needed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When I first went to
Did you issue the? I'm sorry. I'm just trying to.
You're gonna,
No.
okay, I'll make it
let's
real
hear
quick.
the city side, and then you can come back and rebut if you need to.
I apologize. I'm deaf in this ear, and I got 50% in this.
I'd like to let the city present their side, and then you can come back and rebut if you need to, if you'd like.
Just one more time.
I'd like to listen to the
city talk now, and then he'll ask you again for what you want to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just have one last thing, and then. So you want me to?
No, you can remain standing.
You can
That's,
stand.
Yeah.
that's fine.
All right. I can't hear you anyway.
Sorry.
Question?
Did you issue the citation?
I issued a citation on the directive of the building department.
Okay.
We enforce in the city for them. So a citation was issued, notice was mailed, certified to the property owner, and hand-delivered to Mr. Lynn.
And Officer Sanderson, you were out there a month prior, you said?
Give or take.
Give or take. And you
Where I just
suggested
knew that work was being done and encouraged him to touch base with the building department and see if permits would be required.
Okay. And I understand the civil penalty right now is $50.
50.
Any prosecution costs or just the?
There are some prosecution costs. So,
Yeah.
since
Melody,
he's not-
could you talk into the microphone a little bit, please?
So if he's not in compliance, then at some point, if he came into compliance, perhaps he could request a reduction or something.
Yeah, when I see the compliance date you had given was October 11th, and there still are no permits been issued?
There have been no permits. Sorry, Scott.
Yeah, as of today, no permits have been pulled. And the stop work order was issued on July 8th. And then 2 months later, September 26th, we issued a notice of violation because we still didn't have anything resolved, and then we turned it over to the city. That's when the citation was issued.
Nothing's been applied for? Or?
No permits applied for. The gentleman did come in and see our plans examiner the day to ask some general questions, talked about the stage. We said if you want to leave the stage there, then it needs to be accessible. And we gave him some guidelines on what he needed to do. He needed an electrician for the electrical work. We needed to know what he wanted to do with the business. I think he's almost doing what Mr. J's Media Productions was doing there before, some rehearsals or so forth, but no permits at this point in time.
Thank you.
What are the assessments? Does anybody know?
The enforcement cost?
Mm-hmm.
$31.93.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know what the gentleman is asking, if he's asking for more time or to come into compliance or...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've never been opposed to getting this stuff done at all. All of a sudden, bam, $400 for this. Okay, well, I had planned for pay for this, but got to pay for that. And so what I'm asking for, yeah, she's definitely correct. If I could get more time.
But you have an electrician, you said, and he's, I assume, working toward applying for a permit?
Yeah. I'm not sure what you said, but it was about electric.
Your electrician is working toward getting a permit for the work you're having done, or
you know what? He came in, and I got his name through a man named Chris, who I know briefly. I mean, a little, and he said he wasn't going to pull a permit because there's nothing here to pull permit for. He said. I said,
I think you might be mistaken.
Yes, what I told him, they want a permit, and he says, I'll do the work, for this much money, but there's no reason they pull a permit. So I just kind of rolled my eyes like I just did, and I figured, I got to look elsewhere, because whether or not whose opinion says it does and don't, I need a permit because it states that. And to be sure the work will be done right. There's no question about that. As far as, again, what the gentleman said there, it's a matter of time on the financial end of it. People have been very patient with me. Jerry, for one, the man who owns the building. And but I always come through. I always come through. I get the job done, and I get things working, but again, I'm disabled, so I'm a little bit slower, but I get things done, and I'm very anxious to get this thing on the lights and get it rolling, and everybody's happy.
Okay.
The store is also a clothing retail, and portion of the sales are going to Head Start program. I'm real excited about that too. So it's just taking me longer time. Please, no disrespect to anyone here, code enforcement or anybody sitting here. It wasn't at all in my mindset that, they'll just go away, or I don't know. I've never been in this situation before. This is my very first time, but again, I'm going to repeat that. No disrespect. I know what needs to be done, and it's just a matter of I get paid once a month on the 3rd, and I'm asking, I don't know the total amount that will be coming up next month, but I should be able to, get the electric anyway. Like when you're when you contract somebody, or I used to be contracted, when you contract them for $150 or $200, and then boom, another $50. See, there's $250. It adds fast. Everybody knows that in this room. If you go to the supermarket, before you know it, you got a $200 bill, and it's the same thing with trying to get this open. So, but I can do it. On paper.
We don't doubt that.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Recommendation? Has he been responsive at all? Or?
With the building department, we would say give them a 30-day extension to pull the permits, and then we'll revisit the fine.
Is this a
enforcement.
continuing penalty, or is that a one-time?
It'll be one time.
Okay.
Well, it would be continuing if you had directed a notice of assessment be issued because he's not in compliance yet.
Right.
So, but right now it's not running.
It's just the citation. And
Right now it's
Okay.
just the citation.
So if we don't give the notice of assessment and we do give him time to come into compliance, it will not continually. the
Right, it
penalty
won't be
will-
accruing, right.
Okay.
So we would request like a 30-day continuance on the condition that he work with building department, find out what permits are needed, and please timely apply.
Yeah, well, I'm going to make a motion to give is it Mr. Lynn?
Yes.
I'm going to make a motion to give Mr. Lynn 30 days to come into compliance with the building department.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, Mr. Lynn, you have 30 days to work it out with the building department, get the permits you need, and get everything in order with code enforcement and the building department, okay?
Okay. Everything I need, like, okay, I'll get the.
They're very
permit.
helpful. If you go talk to them,
Yeah.
they'll give you a list and tell you exactly what you need to do.
Okay. And all right then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that I'll
You need to speak with the building department moving forward.
to the building department.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye now. Are you Mr. Rapp? Oh, he's on the phone. Oh.
A friend of mine is on the way, and I'm just here to represent until he gets here. He's running a little behind on time.
What is his name?
555 20th Street.
That's the,
Yeah.
Isn't that the
Worst
one?
case.
Okay, that's the appeal. All right, well, tell them to hurry.
Late.
We'll jump back to case 13-CE-417, massage and facial works.
this is a request for a notice of assessment for case 13 CE 4107. The violator, Amy Tremmel, LMT, was cited for violation of failure to obtain a business tax receipt at 2092 6th Avenue as provided in the backup materials. Service of the citation was provided by first-class mail. Certified was refused. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The violation has not been corrected as of November 13th. The civil penalty assessed on the citation has not been paid. Enforcement cost of $39.52 are requested by the city. We request the board issue a notice of assessment plus enforcement cost of $39.52.
Okay, I make a motion that we issue a notice of assessment plus enforcement cost of $39.52.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Case 13-CE-4108.
Requesting a notice of assessment for case 13 CE 4108. No, wait a minute. 8, sorry.
Another massage and facial works?
Yeah, you have
Yes.
two up.
The violator, Kenneth Parks, LMT, was cited for the violation of failure to obtain a business tax receipt at 2092 6th Avenue.
Same place.
Service of the citation was provided by first-class mail. Certified mail was refused. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived, and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The violation has not been corrected as of November 13th. The civil penalty has not been paid. Enforcement cost of $39.52 are requested by the city, requesting the board authorize the issuance of a notice of assessment in this case, plus the enforcement cost of $39.52.
Any questions? Okay, well, I'll make a motion to issue a notice of assessment plus the cost of $39.52.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 13-CE-3978, Lauren Song.
Request for notice of assessment for case 13CE 3978. Violator Lauren Song was cited for the violation of a stagnant swimming pool at 2326 Bonita Avenue as provided by the backup materials. Service of the citation was provided by return receipt and is provided on file with the city clerk's office. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The violation has not been corrected as of November 13th, 2013. The civil penalty has not been paid. Enforcement cost of $77.74 are requested by the city, requesting the board authorize the issuance of a notice of assessment plus the enforcement cost of $77.74.
All right, I'll make a motion that there is a violation and that the board issue a notice of assessment for the civil penalty and the continuing penalty and the cost of prosecution of $77.74.
I'll second that motion.
Move to second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
If we can switch these, the next two cases, and just do them in the reverse order, because one is an occupied property with an adjoining lot. So if we could do 134043 first.
Okay.
Violator Cecil R. Bays was cited for the violation of weeds, grass, and undergrowth at a height of more than 12 inches at 2245 27th Avenue. Service of the citation was provided by return receipt. Property was also posted. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The violation has not been corrected by November 13th. The civil penalty has not been paid. Enforcement cost of $70.43 are requested by the city. We request the board authorize the issuance of a notice of assessment in this case, plus the enforcement cost of $70.43.
Okay. I'll make a motion that, anybody have any questions? I'm sorry. All right. I'll make a motion to issue a notice of assessment plus the enforcement cost of $70.43.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. 13-CE-4053.
The violator, Cecil R. Bays, was cited for the violation of weeds, grass, and undergrowth at a height of more than 12 inches, an unlicensed motor vehicle and trailer at the vacant lot on Potilla Avenue next to 2245 27th Avenue, also owned by Cecil Bays. Service of the citation was provided by return receipt, and the property was also posted. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The violation has not been corrected as of November 13th. The civil penalty has not been paid. Enforcement cost of $15.86 are requested by the city, requesting the board authorize the issuance of a notice of assessment and an enforcement cost of $15.86. Most of this case piggybacked off the other one. That's why the enforcement cost,
Or so
since it's
low.
duplicating.
Okay. So then for case 13CE4053, I'll make a motion for a notice of assessment plus enforcement cost of $15.86.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 13-CE-4141.
Request for notice of assessment for case 13CE4141. Violator Salvatore and Nancy Sastry were cited for the violation of a stagnant swimming pool in weeds, grass, and undergrowth at a height of more than 12 inches at 1935 37th Avenue. Service of the citation was provided by posting the property and is provided on file with the city clerk's office. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The stagnant swimming pool has not been corrected as of November 13th, but the weeds, grass, and undergrowth of 12 inches has been corrected. The civil penalty of $100 assessed on the citation has not been paid. Enforcement cost of $40.24 are requested by the city, requesting the board authorize the issuance of a notice of assessment in this case, plus the enforcement cost of $40.24.
Sorry, how much was the cost?
4024.
I move that we issue a notice of assessment on the property of $100 together with $40.24.
And on this one,
Enforcement costs, yes.
on this one, that would be just as to the stagnant swimming pool,
Correct.
the continuing penalty, and the $50 on the. Is that how much was on the citation?
$100. Wait a minute. $100 was for the grass, since that was a repeat. Wait a minute.
Was it all in one
It
citation?
was all on one citation. We did $100 because it was 2 violations.
It was the grass and the
Oh,
pool.
I got you. Okay.
So 50 and 50?
Right.
Okay, so it'd be 50 and 50, but the continuing of only 50 for the pool.
Correct.
Okay,
Okay.
just so we're clear.
Okay. Well, I'll second that motion.
That's what you meant, right?
Yes, and I also find that the grass portion of this was to be found in compliance. But the swimming pool is not in compliance, and therefore
Correct.
continuing assessment.
I will,
Still good with that?
yeah, I will second that motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
13-CE-4144, request for board order for Andrew Zaleski.
This request for a notice of assessment for case 13 CE 4144, the violator Andrew F. Zaleski was cited for the violation of failure to obtain an occupational permit at 2726 22nd Street. Service of the citation was provided by first class mail. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The violation has been corrected. The civil penalty has not been paid. Enforcement costs of $50.10 are requested by the city. We request the board authorize the issuance of a notice of assessment plus the enforcement cost of $50.10.
That wouldn't be a
This-
notice of assessment. That would be a request
A board
for board
order.
order.
How much was the penalty?
The citation penalty is $50.
$50 and
Yes.
$50.10 cost of prosecution?
Correct.
Okay.
$50.10.
And it's still continuing? They still haven't obtained the...
No, he has an home occupational permit, but he has not paid the fine.
Okay, so it's just an
So he's in
order to pay the
compliance.
$50 penalty. Okay. I'm just trying to catch up.
Too fast for you?
Too quick.
All right, I'll make a motion that the board issue an order for payment of the $50 civil penalty and the $50.10 cost of prosecution, and also that the violation has been brought into compliance.
Correct.
I'll second. Aye.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
That's true.
Okay, only one left.
Not
We do
here.
still have another item on the agenda.
I do?
We do?
Yes. Under Clerk's
Contractors.
Matters, your annual report.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's a bad one to miss, too, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Did you prepare us a nice report, Sherry?
Yes.
Thank
As
you.
Jeff.
Well, last year and the year before, I get reports back from usually the
What-
recreation
what
department
I gave
saying,
you was-
this is a good report.
What I gave you was last year's report. So if you want to do something of the same type of thing, then I need a motion and the board needs to agree for you to submit it to the city council. You got it?
It was in our backup table.
Fantastic.
Awesome. I'll make a motion then that Sherry prepared a very good report and that we submit it to the city council.
And I will second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your diligence.
Your hard work. I've read this 3 times now.
Hopefully I won't catch any flack this time. I guess recreation puts pictures in theirs. I won't let that reflect on. Yeah.
Which one was he?
The appeal. Any news? first one there.
First one.
So I'm
42 minutes late.
Wrap.
He said, there was an accident on 95, so he had to deter and come a different way. So he was wondering, like, he's still like 15 minutes away. So
Oh boy.
he said if you want, he can relay the message to me and we can get through it like that. That's what you got.
He'd have to be sworn in.
This was the car sitting down the.
Well,
What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm talking to your microphone, Sherry.
No, but I heard my name, so I'm very curious.
reluctant to go forward without the representative being here. He was representing Champion Mortgage. Do you know the fellow that's coming? He's the guy that does the maintenance.
Yes.
Okay. If it's okay with him, we'll go ahead and explain, because I think we might even be able to resolve this because of some conflicting dates that were in the record. Why don't you go ahead and put your name on the record so we know who
If
we're
you'll
dealing
walk
with.
up to the, no, he hasn't been sworn in.
As he came in, we were swearing him in, he held his
Well, I
hand up
didn't
to
see
that.
him. If you'll just raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. If you'll state your name, please.
My name is James Sawyer.
If you remember, and I want to try to explain this, the board had issued a notice. Wait a minute, find the right one. This is the gentleman, if you remember, was here before, and he was the fellow that was going to take care of the maintenance and bring the property into compliance. This is the one that had the car on the carport, and the only issue with the car was it didn't have a current registration tag on it, was the only problem.
Explaining your case.
The owners are deceased.
Right. The mortgage company, Champion Mortgage, that he was working for, they had been given a separate citation to bring them into the case, and they had been given a correction date of July 29th of this year. The notice of assessment, when that was issued, and this was prior to his first appearing. He appeared after the notice of assessment was issued. The notice of assessment had used a start date that had been given to the owners that were deceased, and of course, so they didn't respond. So, anyway, if you're following this, if we had used the date they were given, do you remember, Sherry, the date that he was here? But he did quickly correct the grass issue, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
The grass issue was corrected before the correction date.
Right. It was actually corrected before the date they had been given for correction.
And the motion that was made by the board was for
Hold it in abeyance
right.
pending resolution
But the
of the
date
car.
that was given was actually also prior to the date of correction.
Oh.
You follow, like if it was
That was
July
right.
31st, then
Right. So they actually had more time to bring the property into compliance than we
Would have normally been given.
used the wrong date off the wrong order, the
Right.
one for the owners instead of the date that had been given to the mortgage company. So anyway, they had corrected the grass issue, and the only thing remaining was the car issue. But the grass issue had been corrected by the date they were given, so there's just that $50 fine, I believe. Is that right, Melody? So the issue really is whether or not you're going to assess any additional penalties because of the car. Because it took them a little while. They had to get possession of the house, and then they were able, I understand, they were then able to get the car removed from the property.
As I'm explaining it to him also as you go along.
Okay.
So-
The vehicle was removed on September 27th. Notice that the vehicle was removed on the 27th.
Yes, he said.
Okay.
They're explaining that you did move.
They
the
tried, it was
vehicle,
probably
but you
hard.
moved it after
I mean, I would imagine it was hard
Someone
to,
takes someone's car away.
that vehicle was probably in somebody else's name and everything else, I would imagine.
Right, and if you remember, they didn't want to remove the vehicle because they didn't have possession of the property yet. So they didn't want to go in and remove any personal property, but they were mowing the grass ahead of the time that they had to.
And so,
I don't
and
know
we're
if
all
we
in
can.
compliance as of today's date.
And I think
We're all in compliance as of the 27th of September, correct?
So it's really,
And was it
and that's what
when
he
the
was,
vehicle was
what he
actually
was,
taken care of? Was that before the
Start that
the
again.
when he finally got the vehicle taken care of, was that before the real compliance date, or
No,
It was after.
No, okay.
no, that was subsequent to
No,
that
because we-
date.
that you guys
But
decided
you
to
had
put
held
that
it in abeyance to give them time.
Right.
He
And
had no
because,
timeframe on
yeah.
that.
They didn't have possession of the property at the time.
Right.
I know.
Right,
so-
and you guys said put the car in abeyance, and so they were under the grace period, so there was nothing.
Yeah,
I
this,
mean,
this needs to go
personally, I
away.
think that they've shown that they were really on the situation,
Mhm.
and
Well, can we
given
just
what they had
dismiss
to work
everything,
with,
and
they,
or is
Well, I don't
there
know
a
if you want to
civil penalty
dismiss
that
it.
has
You
to-
could you could just issue an order finding it's in compliance and assess whatever penalties you find or owing. Probably at least the $50 initial penalty. Would you say, Melody, or did you have cost of enforcement? You filed an
We can just go to
affidavit
50.
on. It's up to you
No,
what
waive
you're
the
asking the board for.
Because
Huh.
it was.
But
waived.
we're finding Champion Mortgage and not the gentleman that was taking care of the maintenance, right?
Right.
right, but I think he said he gets stuck with paying them, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think I remember that too.
What were the enforcement costs on this one?
She waived them.
Yeah, but what were they?
I don't know.
They were
Go back.
8510, but that was a long process of trying to track down because it was a reverse mortgage.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of that was my time going through tax records of the daughter, trying to, make contact to find out why the house wasn't being resolved.
Uh-huh. So there was some cost involved with the city. I think maybe this $50 civil penalty should still stand. And we find it in compliance.
He said that when Champion Mortgage and himself, the company that cleans the property, he said that the owner of the vehicle, that they did inform them that they need to move the vehicle, and he said that on 8/29, but it still was problems. He said it still was problems with them because they still didn't come out and move it, and they didn't want to move it because it's not their property, and they didn't want to be responsible
Yeah.
for the towing fees and the storage fees.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion then that there was a violation that's been corrected. Everything
hold
is in compliance.
Hold on.
And that are we issuing an order, or what are we doing here?
It'd be a final order.
That the board issue an order payment of the $50 civil penalty.
And waive the enforcement cost.
Right.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, so what's the penalty?
$50.
$50.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Man, that was a long one. Sherry, you're right. We'll adjourn.
Sherry did this just on purpose. Make it stay here for a while. 'Cause she was in